What's up, quadcopter fans? It's hiringadrone.com, and today I'm going to be doing a video on a motor replacement for the JJRC H16 Tarantula X6. This was my second time replacing one of the four motors. I had one that I had to replace before. It wasn't necessarily even the motor, it was actually the gear on it, and that appears to be what the problem is this time. So just to give you a little background, I installed some custom landing mods, landing gear on here with some zip ties. My bottom casing was broken when I received the replacement from overseas, so I had to make some modification. I had to duct tape, super glue, put some JB weld in order to get a solid frame, because one of the arms is completely broken off, and you can see, there's still some bulging here, from where the bottom casing was warped. So had everything together, took it for one test flight without the camera on it. It seemed to fly fine, no issues, landed smooth with this gear on. Put the camera on there, took it up again, and I was only getting 30 to 50 feet off the ground. And I was noticing some throttling issues where I'd have it completely jammed, flying it on the highest speed, and this thing was decelerating down from the air, even though it was all the way fully cranked up, and hitting fairly hard. Wasn't able to stop. Usually that's something that comes along with a not charged battery, but my battery was completely charged. So went back, charged the batteries up, took it out again to see, and same thing happened again. This time getting up about 100 feet. I got a little bit further up, but same thing happened. Once it got to about 30 feet, it was dropping like a rock. I couldn't stop it from coming down hard. So it reminded me of a problem I had similar, where this was going on prior to me fixing the motor and replacing it. So under closer inspection, I did notice that the motor actually did wear out. So if you can see here, there's a big groove worn here, and it's the same problem I had before. So where I fly, this thing is extremely dirty. What happens is that sometimes those bearings will get loose in there. This will move up and down with that grit and grime in there. The plastic actually eats away at this, must be like brass or copper, some sort of soft metal, and it eats the teeth off of here in a groove in here, which doesn't allow it to fully catch every time. And doing so, you get a couple rotations in there where it's not catching, you don't get any lift, and that appears to be what the issue is again. So I thought it was going to be a nightmare trying to replace this, given the fact that I had put all this tape in here, zip ties. Luckily I was able just to clip two of them right here in the front. It gave me enough wiggle room to slide this off, and then I was able to, let me flip this over so you can see, I was able to pull the light cover over just a little bit, because you have to get access to this hole right here in order to get the motor out, because there's two holes in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's too many holes, one in front and one directly underneath the prop guard cover. And if you can't get to those, you can't get the motor out. So you slide this out, and then you pull the gear out. Obviously you got to take the propeller off, and be careful because the bearings are going to come with it. You got little bitty screws. So I got it out. A motor seat is available, so I can go ahead and stick in my new motor, and then hopefully I'll just have to zip tie these two spots here, and I'll be back and flying in no time at all. So since I have the spare parts, I ordered them, the gears. I'm going to go ahead and replace it with the new one. You can obviously see how dirty this one is. The teeth don't seem to be an issue, so I'll go ahead and I'll clean this one off in the meantime. But I'll put a new one in here since I'm going to replace it anyways. And I need to get out one of my 4 batteries that I purchased that are spares. If you are going to fly one of these tarantulas, I would suggest picking up some spare batteries, so that way if this does happen to you, you'll have the ability to be able to replace it. So, and this is a black and white, so I need to make sure that I get a black and white motor. So I'm going to take that out of the pack, and then we're going to look at the gears at the top in a comparison, and you can clearly see the damage that's been done to this one, and it's causing some issues. So you can actually buy these replacement gears for fairly cheap from overseas. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my order in now. It's going to take a while to get them anyways. So then that way, hopefully in the future, you know, I can take these off. I haven't figured out quite how to do it. Probably going to grab it with some pliers and just yank that sucker off of there. Not sure. Since it does spin, you know, it's not like you can unscrew it. So I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but you know, if I can pick these up for 99 cents and these batteries are still good, or the motors are still good, you know, that's a deal all day long. So very simple to replace the motor. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick the motor down in here. I need to make sure that I have the holes here, and the holes are going to line up with the holes. And I'm going to bring the light in a little bit closer, hopefully get some better lighting on this. But there's two holes down there. I just need to make sure these holes are going to match up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide that in to my motor seat. Push that down in there, nice and secure. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. Now I'm going to have a little bit of stuff in my way while trying to do this, just because I was being a little lazy and I didn't want to take off this leg, which I probably should, but not really feeling it right at the moment. I just want to get this repair done. So these screws are super small, and because of the motors being magnetic, it makes it extremely difficult in order to be able to replace these. So let me try to get some better lighting and a better position on this. Okay, so hopefully that lighting's a little bit better and you can see in there now. And so this is a kind of a tricky task, is to get these two little bitty screws. I mean, they're microscopic in there. So I'm going to use my magnetic screwdriver, and I'm going to hope for the best that I get it on the first try. And I'm probably going to prime it up a little bit if I can find my magnet to magnetize this, because the motors are magnetized and you're going to be fighting with that. Okay, so let's give it a try. So sticking on there now. I got my screw on there. I'm going to go in for a stab and hopefully I get it on the first try. Feels like we're in the hole. Alright, so we got lucky on that one. It's in the hole. If you can see it, it's behind there. So now we're going to go for the second one. And if you got a case to keep your screws in while you're taking these apart, very helpful, so that way you don't lose them, because they're tiny. I'm working on a desk. If you can put a magnet perimeter around your desk, that would be even better. So then that way, there's no chance of them falling off your desk, because if they do, it can be difficult to find them. I've got a magnet that I kind of sweep the area with to pick any screws up that I might have lost. Okay, so I don't want to go in too tight to strip it out, but it looks like we're in there. You can see both screws are now in, holding the motor in place, so our motor's good. So we're missing a bearing, and I'm going to put that bearing in as well as the bearing on the top. I did a comparison between the bearings of some new ones that I have. I purchased some propeller mounts or gear mounts. And so the bearings, you know, between the two, they don't look like they've worn away. I mean, they look fairly similar. If I can do a comparison, they look fairly close in diameter. This one might be a little bit wider. So I do have these for backups, but that could be a problem of what could be causing these to slip around too, as well as the bearings go out. So I'm gonna put this into place here, into the hole, and then I need to put a bearing on the reverse side. If I can get it. Okay. So hopefully this one will stay in when I flip it over. I'm going to put it in on the reverse side here. Alright, so now we got that in there. We can go ahead and stick our gear through the hole. Just slides up there like so. And we need to make sure we're all the way there. Okay, so now that the gear is on, the next part is the propeller, which is fairly tricky too as well. So I have my propeller. You need to make sure your propellers match up. Hopefully you can see there's a B on there, and that will correlate with the B on your arm there. So you need to make sure both of them are B's, and we're going to line these up the hole to the best of our ability, and hopefully we're going to get this sucker on the first try. And you can kind of look through the hole, as the camera is a little bit in my way, but you can kind of angle this to see if you're on the hole, which it looks like I am currently right now. So I'm going to get my screw for my propeller here. Now this one is tough too as well, because you know the magnet from the magnetic field from the motor pulls these as well. So hopefully we're just getting lucky today, left and right, and this one's in, so feeling pretty good about that. Cool. 2 in, or actually all 3 in. So now our propeller's on there, nice and tight. Make sure, you know, if you are doing your engine repair, move this camera just a little bit, you do put your propeller on there, because you'll get out there and you'll try to start your engine and it'll just fall out the bottom. So now no more catching, nice and smooth, and I'll show you what's going on here. So see how clean and nice that looks. And I'm going to eventually have to do this to all of them. This one was just causing a problem, so hopefully this will be the fix, but you can see how nice and clean that is now. Nice easy catch, and you know, I might be able to avoid this too as well if I was cleaning these out regularly. I try to get some dust off or duster for computer cleaner and spray it out, but you know, the conditions I'm flying in, it's just difficult to do that. So you know, it's not really an easy fix as far as being able to clean it. So last 2 things I need to do, I just need to put on these prop guards here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect these wires here, connect my motor back together, and then I'm going to tuck them down in here. Be mindful that you still got to put your motor case on, so you need that to fit into as well. So I'm going to put this just so you can see. So I'm going to fold it up since these are newer wires and they're a little bit longer. But this motor case needs to be able to fit here like so. And then, you know, you screw in on both sides, making sure that you're not clamped down on any of the wires. So that's all I have left on my end to do, and then I'm going to put my new zip ties on here to hold my legs, and hopefully we got another strong flying beast that's going to be able to take this camera up for some more video photography. And keep in mind, I mean, this is only a cheap drone, but you know, you can keep on patching this thing up left and right and flying it, so it's worth it. You know, I enjoy flying this thing. And I've fixed it and took it apart now almost 2 times, and you know, I'm a noob, so if I can do it, pretty much anyone else can. So hopefully this video helped you out if you're experiencing the same issues, if you're noticing that your throttle's all the way up but your motor, you know, it's dropping down. First, check your batteries to make sure your batteries aren't dead if it's fully charged. Then I would start looking at these, because these little gears, these things do not last very long. And you know, it probably depends on the load that you're taking up to as well. You know, I got all this gear tape as well as, you know, GoPro on there, so mine's a fairly heavy lift, and you know, I'm assuming that's probably got something to do with it too as well. So this video helped you out in any way, definitely give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more future upcoming videos.